What's going on, my YouTube friends and family? I hope you're having a good day. Today's video is going to be probably the craziest story time of my high school years, and I was asked about this the other day on my live, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a story time about this because this is pretty awesome. So in my senior year of high school, I would drive to school every day, and it would start at 8:30 a.m. I would time it out perfectly that if I left my house at 8:18, I could get there at 8:28, and I could make it in school just in time before the bell, right? So the only thing is, I would park in the guest parking. So they had like 5 guest parking spots up front. I know it's fucked up, but like no guests ever even parked there. So, or at least when I saw, there was always empty spots. So I'd park literally directly right in front of the school, and I would run in through the front doors. My class was right there. It was amazing. And I did that because your boy's cheap. And fucking parking passes were like $60. And first off, come on. So you gotta pay. All right. So you have to legally go to school. You are legally bound by law to have to go to school, which is already whack because I'm not even gonna get into that. That's for another time. But then if you drive to school, you have to pay to park on the school that our taxes pay for. Okay, I'm getting mad again. I'm not mad, doesn't make sense. Maybe it does. Maybe you can show me the light. Maybe I'm wrong on this. But that was my justification for parking in the very front of the parking, in the front of the school. So here's the school. On the side, there's these two-way driving. And so I would come, there's cars coming this way. I would come right here and have to cross in front of these cars to get into the parking lot. And sometimes I was a little bit ballsy. So, you know, I'd see a car coming and maybe I'd just kind of go in front a little too late where they'd have to stop on their brakes, slam on their brakes, and pray for goddamn their whole life. I would do that. There was this one week where, you know, every day from Monday to Friday, I would pull into the front of the parking lot and I passed this car, literally 4 days in a row. There's this black Ford Expedition that I would pass in front. Like I'd try to give a little wave. Sometimes the thing is, it was 8 in the morning and I am not a morning guy, and I hate to be that person like, don't talk to me before my cup of coffee. Just don't talk to me straight up before 11 a.m. because I don't know how my genetic wiring, my brain works, but I cannot function in the morning. So please don't talk to me because I'll probably say some rude shit or I'll probably be snappy, okay? So that's just a little pre-warning. So it's 8 in the morning. A lot of times I'm already fed up that I even have to be at school. I was gonna say I'm fed up that I have to be living, but at the time I was okay. So I'm fed up that I have to be there that early. I'm legally obligated to go to school, so the least I'm gonna do is park in the front. And for the next 4 days, I cut off this Ford Expedition, this black Ford Expedition that's trying to come this way, and I have to jump in front. And like to the point where they have to completely stop even though they're moving. And I know it's fucked up, but that's what happens. So the 4th day, I steam up, I roll into school, I look like a fucking hobo, double bags under my eyes, and I park and I start walking into school. And all of a sudden that Ford Black Expedition pulls up right in front of me as I'm walking into school. And it's definitely like a soccer mom. It's 100% a Karen because I heard the anger in her voice. Like she definitely asked to speak to managers on the regular every time she went shopping because I could just hear the aggression in her voice. And she was like, but in this case, I can't understand. And she looked at me and she was like, every day for the past 4 days, I'm trying to leave school and you cut me off, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just walking and I hear this out of my ear and I just look up and I look to her and I go, but did I hit you though? And she just looks at me. She doesn't say anything. Her mouth just drops. She's like, and I felt like a boss. I'll be honest. Like, be gone, Karen. Like, you come at me that energy. Like, did I hit you though? Because we're both sitting here alive and well, here to tell the story and bitch at each other. So obviously it wasn't that bad. Then all of a sudden I'm in second period, AP Environmental Science, right? And I get this text from my buddy Zach. He works in the front office and he's like, yo, I heard the administrators talking. They're searching your car right now. And I just froze up and my whole body, I got like goosebumps and I was reading the message and like the message started to shake. I was just tripping out. And I was like, fuck. And so I was sitting there thinking, and then all of a sudden it came to my head. I had a Xanax in my car. And when they search your car, at least at my school, they have some master key to get in your car. It's fucked up. And they usually have a dog. And so I was like, okay, I don't know why they're searching my car. I was starting to put 2 and 2 together, but I was like, oh shit. I am so fucked. I have a prescription drug in my car. And take in mind, I wasn't taking Xanax like that. I happened to have a bar of Xanax because I did experiment a little bit. Look, I was lost in high school. I didn't have a lot of direction. I didn't have a fatherly figure. I'm explaining, I'm not excusing, but I did try Xanax a little bit back in that day. And oh man, those were crazy times. Trying to just figure it out, you know? And so I'm tripping, and I tell my teacher, Mr. Arkfeld, because he's cool as fuck. And so I'm like, hey, they're searching my car, like I have a Xanax in there, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, like my whole class starts to get in on it. So basically, they don't believe me. I'm like, literally, I'm telling them, I'm like, I think a cop is about to come up to this classroom and get my ass. And they're like, no, whatever. Like my whole class, we're talking about it. And then so Mr. Arkfeld starts doing his lecture or whatever, talking about fucking mitochondria and the coral reefs and shit, and we get a knock on the door, and it just knock, 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 and we all go quiet, and my heart just drops. All of a sudden, door opens, police officer comes in, he's like, is there a Drew-Gunby in this classroom right now? And everyone just looks at me, couple of laughs, because I'm like, fuck, I knew this was gonna happen. I was like, yes, I'm right here. And I get up and I look at everyone, give them a little, it was real knowing you, because I'm probably not going to see y'all for the next week because of ISS or wherever. I might be in the pin, might be in the slammer, who knows. And cop calls me out. I get brought down to the front office and I talk to one of the administrators, Mrs. Ratliff. And she's like, yeah, so we had this lady call, and she's like, you know, the first question is, why are you parking in the guest parking? And I was like, well, I tried to be all like, well, you know, I don't have the money to spend on the parking pass. I just think it's kind of ridiculous how it's $50. She goes to explain, you know, reasonably why they price it like that. And then she sees, because at the time I had this tattoo, I had this little feather tattoo, and then I had a compass that I ended up covering up because high school tattoos. And she looks at me and she's like, well, if you stopped spending money on tattoos, then maybe you'd be able to buy a parking pass. She was just hitting me with the facts. I was just a kid, like a little kid, little shit trying to justify my dumb actions. But luckily, as we were talking, I was thinking that she was going to mention the Xanax. I was like, okay, like this is going smoothly so far. When's she going to drop the Xanax bomb? But she never dropped the Xanax bomb. Long story short, I ended up getting a week of ISS, which is bullshit because that's institutionalization. I say, god damn. Sorry, my nose going crazy. This pollen's going nuts out here. God damn, you can see this shit in the air. Come on, Texas, do better. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I get 7 days of ISS, and I'm stuck in these little cubicles, which, by the way, the whole concept of ISS, I just got punished, okay? I was treated like a criminal, same to the prison system, when really we're not solving the root of the problem. Why am I making these actions? Boy, I need some rehabilitation. I need some counseling. I don't need to be locked up for 7 days in a fucking cubicle writing sentences, but whatever, besides the point. So she prescribed me with 7 days of ISS, and she banned me from the parking lot for a whole year. So that was like, okay, fuck. So basically for the rest of the school year, I had to park in a neighborhood across these 4 lanes. God, it's bringing back PTSD. And it'd be hot as shit. And I'd have to park in front of a dude's house, hoping he doesn't call the cops, because I wasn't supposed to park in front of anyone's house. And I would walk across the street. And I did that for basically a year, and my leg muscles got worked the fuck out, and I was already fed up already of having to go to school that early, and then I had to do that. I had to park in a completely different neighborhood because I was banned from the parking lot. So yeah, but hey, they didn't find the drug, so that was good. But I guess I learned my lesson. Not really. That's what happens when you get punished rather than rehabilitated, but that's for another time. So yeah, that's probably the craziest high school story that really sticks in my mind. If you want me to tell more, I can think of other high school stories or any story times. I got quite a few. But yeah, so that's the time where I almost got my Xanax found and I got banned from the parking lot for a year. See you next time.